Accessible Microsoft PowerPoint. Microsoft PowerPoint has a number of built-in features and tools that will enable you to create a more accessible PowerPoint presentation. Accessibility across Microsoft Office. There are a number of accessibility features and processes that are common across Microsoft Office applications, and these include adding alternative text descriptions to images, tables, and charts and graphs, formatting hyperlinks with context, ensuring adequate contrast and use of color, formatting lists and tables, and using the accessibility checker. PowerPoint and accessibility. So let's take a look at what is different in PowerPoint. The key accessibility features and strategies in PowerPoint include using the built-in layouts, using unique slide titles, determining the reading order on the slides, using the outline view to check your content, and avoiding overlapping objects. So let's start with layouts. Just like within Microsoft Word, you want to use the features that are built in. This is going to help you ensure that you have a more accessible document, and one of the main tools or features that's built in PowerPoint are the layouts. So let's take a look at layouts. There are a number of different layouts available, and you want to make sure that you use these pre-built layouts with placeholders already added. And you're going to have a much more accessible document from the start if you use the built-in placeholders rather than add your own text boxes. So that's key. This will help ensure that screen readers will read the content in the order that you intend the content to be read. On the Home tab, go to Layout and select the layout that best suits your needs for your particular content and slide function. For example, there's a choice for a title slide and content, section header, to content, and more. Unique slide titles. PowerPoint does not have the same capability to add structured headings as you can add in Microsoft Word. There are no headings available within PowerPoint. Instead of headings, there are slide titles which function in a similar way. So it's very important that each slide has a unique slide title. This will allow a user of a screen reader to easily find their way around and identify where they are within the presentation. Unique slide titles will help all users better access the information on your slides. So that's one of the key features of an accessible PowerPoint, and it's a universal design feature. Object reading order. Next, something that's a little bit unique on PowerPoint slides are that you may have a number of different objects on a slide. A sighted user will read the information and objects on the slide following the visual placement. However, a screen reader will read in the order the objects are placed on the slide by default, unless you specify the order the objects should be read. Using the placeholders on the layouts is going to help you eliminate this issue, but you may have a couple of different objects on a slide. So you want to make sure that you are thinking about the reading order and you're checking the object order, and there are a couple of different ways to do that. First of all, you want to use your tab key, and you can tab through the objects. Here I'm tabbing through, and you can see that the objects are really not in the order that we expected them to be in or that you would read them in. So I'm going to need to make a change to that. So what I can do then is I'm going to go up to the Arrange on the toolbar. I'm going to go down and choose the selection pane. This brings up the selection pane and it shows me the order of all of the different content that I have on the page. And the order is read from what is at the bottom to the top. So in this example, the bottom object is content placeholder 2, but really what I would like to have read first is the title. Title 1, I'm going to change that. To change it, I just drag it down to reorder it. So now it will be in the order that I would like it to be read, and I can double check that again, tabbing through. And it looks like I also would like to change the order of the last 2 images. So I'm going to reorder those as well by dragging. And yes, there I have the order that I would like the slide to be read, and this is the order that the screen reader will read the slide. Avoid overlapping objects. Avoid placing objects on top of other objects or on top of placeholders. This is another reason to use the built-in layouts rather than add objects or text boxes separately. But if you do add images, make sure to resize the text placeholders to eliminate any overlap. Click within the text area to access the text placeholder box. Grab a sizing box and resize the placeholder. And make sure that the image is not on top of the placeholder. It is also a good idea to minimize the number of separate images on a slide. For example, rather than use 3 separate images for the Microsoft Office icons on this slide, I can take a screenshot and I can create 1 image rather than using 3 separate images. So if I'm using a PC, I can use the snipping tool to take a screenshot and paste the image on the slide. If I'm using a Mac, I can use the screenshot shortcut keys, Command-Shift+4, Command-Shift-4 to take a screenshot and paste the image. And of course, I also need to make sure to add alt text to the image as well. To add alt text, right-click the image, choose Edit Alt Text, and add the short description in the description box. For this image, I'm adding the description Microsoft Office icons, PowerPoint, Word, and Excel. Or depending on the purpose of the image, I could choose Mark as decorative. Format text in color and contrast. Follow these tips for text that is more readable. Use fonts that are easy to read with clear spacing. Typically sans serif fonts such as Arial, Verdana, Calibri, they're generally easier to read on screens and within body text than are serif fonts. Serif fonts are typically better suited for print purposes. You want to make sure that you avoid large amounts of text in capital letters or italics or underlined. So you want to make sure that you choose backgrounds wisely and always place text on a plain or solid background, not over an image. You also want to consider the color and contrast, as you need to do for all digital and print content. The text color should provide enough contrast with the background color that the text can easily stand out. And you can use third-party color contrast checkers, such as the Color Contrast Analyzer or another contrast checker tool, to check the contrast. You also want to be aware of colors that may be difficult for individuals who are colorblind to distinguish, such as red and green combinations. And on this slide, I have a red text on a green background and green text on a red background, and both of these combinations are difficult to read. Also, adding data labels to charts and graphs is a universal design function that improves the experience for all users. So to add a data label, right-click the series indicator and choose Add Data Labels. Increasing the font size of the label is also useful for many individuals, and it makes the content easier to read. Select the label and go to the Increase Font Size button on the toolbar. Using the accessibility checker. Just like within Microsoft Word, PowerPoint has an accessibility checker that you can use to identify issues that might cause problems for people with disabilities. To use the accessibility checker, go to the Review tab and select Check Accessibility. Just like in Microsoft Word, the accessibility checker will produce a report showing the errors and providing information on why to fix the issue and how to fix the issue. Save as PDF. Again, as in Word, it can be very useful to save the PowerPoint presentation as a PDF before sharing it with others. To save as PDF, go to File, Export, and choose Save as PDF. Access for all. Following the steps in this video will help you create more accessible PowerPoint presentations that improve access for people with disabilities and can improve usability for all.